Hey, how's it going today? Is 30th of July, Tuesday, and we're taking a look at the market. I think that a good place to start, since before jumping back to take a look at some of the government's releases, that really let's take a look at different perspective, right? Someone perhaps who has hands-on experience. I haven't read this article. I had reviewed it, but briefly taking a look at what this article is all about, since that it is someone from Bristol making a statement. So let's try to understand it. That Bristol Bristol Bridge Master wants more women engineers. Okay, that's okay. I didn't realize that it wasn't a problem, but either way, let's take a look at this article. The first female bridge master. Okay. On the Bristol Clifton Suspension Bridge has said she would like to see more women in engineering. Okay. Uh, let's skip some of that information that not necessarily would be perhaps would be very important, but we understand need as well as more diversity would be great. As in particular, if we were not necessarily focused on gender, but if we were to focus on skills and expertise, if anything, that would be important. So if there's a expert working on any project, that's the only thing that's important, right? Not necessarily gender. But I thought it's just an interesting article. We can progress with some of the information from this article, but not necessarily the history behind the bridge, all those kind of things, right? That would be iconic structure was designed by a British engineer. There is a name there. Isambard. Okay. Isambard is exactly the same name that the new high performance computer is called. That is online currently. It's been switched on very recently, perhaps a couple months ago. Very expensive piece of kit, by the way. It's exactly the same name. I was trying to do a backstory on that computer, but they told me something about the trade in the market, trade something like that. But I didn't realize that there might be the same reason why they give the homage to, right? Quote unquote, right? But either way, Brunel, who died in 1859, so did not get to see it's completed. But either way, so there was someone who have designed this civil engineering project, right? The point that we are taking a look at that would be a need for engineers. Miss Johnson mentors other women in STEAM, that would be science, technology, engineering, and maths, throughout the program Women Like Me. Okay, okay, it's a very reasonable initiative. So for people, I think it's just for women in this case. So we profiling people based on gender. So for any woman who interested to get themselves more in engineering, and if I don't know, there might be some obstacles why people not see that an interesting career, but there's a lot of opportunities within this particular field, and there's a process in place, right? To get involved in STEAM because they're a bit of more of a mad geek, but I don't want to be desk bound, she said. Okay. There are always a cry for engineers, yet only 10% of women are engineers. The UK is quite unusual for there being so few. In Scandinavia countries, it's nearly 50-50% in engineering, and myself, I like to encourage more women to take a look at this field, not necessarily school teachers. When you take a look at some of the sectors like school teachers, either a lot of people would have so many holidays, they would have all. It's not promotion to get into that field, where you don't need to work or do anything. It's promotion for summer holidays. That's what is it, 3 months, as well as after as well as roughly about 2 weeks or additional holidays for school teachers, as well as on top of that, I don't know, the expectations are perhaps not very high for school teachers, right? Compared to engineers, who sector that would potentially challenge you. But I would highly encourage more people to pursue your career in this field if you're looking to give back to society, and I think it's been recognized by some of the people in the field. So once that's been said, let's take a look at some of the government's releases, right? Let's take a look at some of the government's press releases, right? If we take a look at engineering, we can potentially take a look at civil engineering, and that would be a building of houses, right? And we are taking a look at the previous article, we were taking a look at perhaps who is going to be building those houses. Perhaps there's more opportunities for, and it's going to be right now, and perhaps those opportunities going to be made available equally for everyone. So it's not necessarily based on your gender, but those opportunities are going to be made available, right? So once that been said, we can take a look at our plan to build more homes. New targets will boost house building in areas most needed. We are out halting our housing system to meet the needs for working people and all put communities first. Our plan will include introducing mandatory planning targets to aim to deliver on our ambition to build 1.5 million new homes over the next 5 years, which is very short target, but it's just because it haven't been. It's not that hard to do. It's very hard to do and plan and have necessary infrastructure in place to do it. But either way, the new targets will boost householding building in the areas most needed to help more people buy their own homes and help drive growth, making everyone in the country better off. So let's try to understand the entire press release and what it's all about. That will bring you back mandatory house targets. As part of our plan, we will be updating national planning policy framework to bring back mandatory house targets and set higher expectations for how many homes must be built. Since a need, I believe it's about 7 million, a little bit more than 7 million houses currently needed. So 1.5 is reasonable and it could be very ambitious, but a need is way, way higher, right? Our new housing targets will make sure local authorities plan for homes that are proportional to the size of existing communities, with an uplift in areas where houses prices are the most out of step with local incomes. Our approach also includes making clear our expectations that all authorities have up-to-date local plans, meaning they will be required to plan for numbers of homes their communities need, so local people can engage in how, not if, homes are built. Okay, so do not build too much, as well as that might have impact on overall prices, right? Depending on communities and all areas. So it should be reasonable, as well as giving more control perhaps to local councils to plan this kind of things, right? This plan will set out a course to reach our target of 1.5 million new homes, driving growth and creating wealth in local communities. What is National Planning Policy Framework? The National Planning Policy Framework sets out government's planning policies for England and how these should be applied. That includes policy on proportions effectively the green belt and the circumstances where there could be development on the land with the green belt. Okay, it's a part of planning, as well as they do not necessarily cover everything in necessary detail when it comes to sourcing finances and creating those opportunities for people perhaps invest in some of those projects as well. So there might be a lot of opportunities, as well as we were taking a look at getting more interest from different demographics of people, including based on gender, right? If local authorities can meet their housing targets, they will need to look to brownfield land in the green belt, and the green belt prioritize land near stations and or existing settlements. Okay. So I don't think that's so much of the issue. I think finances and other areas would be more of the problem, right? Oh, by the way, I haven't read this article, so it might be important, but either way. Greenbelt sites will only be built on if they meet the government's golden rules, that half of the homes are affordable, the plans enhance the local environment, and all necessary infrastructure is in place, such as schools and OGP surgeries, right? So that's golden rules, like schools and OGP surgeries, so the community is taken care of, as well as making it easier to build digital infrastructure, as well as, okay, that's important, so it's good that it's been recognized by the government. We will also make it easier to build laboratories, digital infrastructure, and all gigafactories to make batteries for electric vehicles. Okay. To deliver the well-updated national planning policy framework, requiring local authorities to identify sites to meet the need of modern economy. A long-term plan for housing planning and or infrastructure bill will include measures to speed up the delivery of the high-quality homes and infrastructure, as well as a commitment to deliver the biggest boost of affordable and or social housing in a generation. We will also build the next generation of new towns built there would be delivered for local people and unlock economic growth in new towns program will deliver much needed quality and all genuine affordable housing, right? So since we have touched on digital infrastructure, we haven't touched on energy. So that will be cost of energy in the UK is so high, so that will be important. So once that been said, perhaps that should be important of how we're gonna be looking to deliver some of those as well as perhaps digital infrastructure. Either way, let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.